Good afternoon and happy Cinco de Mayo, and welcome to another video of Lots of Options. Here at Lots of Options, we are basically dedicated to the idea of active investing through the process of using options and using technical analysis to try and find the best credit spreads and the best debit spreads to try and get as much movement out of the market as possible. And today I'd like to talk a little bit about movement and the fact that we have already had a lost decade. And my fear that it is going to be as a result of the coronavirus that we are going to have another lost decade. And people who saved money, in large part, actually only compiled their own money. They did not compile money which was compounded by interest, or the wonderful idea that money can be doubled or tripled as a result of compounding over time, unless they owned higher yield stocks as opposed to owning the S&P 500 or the NASDAQ 100. Because the bottom line is those indexes didn't really move, and those indexes really did not offer any value in terms of their 2% or 2.3% dividend yields. So let's just take a look for a moment at all of this, what I would call dead weight. Back in 2000, of course, we had the dot-com bubble, and that burst, and then, of course, later on, we had the financial crisis. But just take a look at this. 13, almost 14 years dead money, never above 150 on the SPY. Now we'll take a look at the SPX. Here on the SPX, we basically can show the exact same time period. Again, no money basically coming in, except from actual savings, unless you're an active investor. 1528, 1529, 1530 on the S&P. Over 3 years, actually over 13 years, excuse me, as you can see in the top corner, you would have had an annualized yield of 0.02. You would have had a 0.2% return and a 3.04% annual yield. Okay, and that's over the period of January 31st, 2000 to January 31st, 2013. Then, all of a sudden, we had the Trump trade and the end of financial ruin for our country and for the United States in general. And we had a tremendous rally from 1500 or 1600 where we broke out all the way up to 33.92. And now we're, of course, faced with the coronavirus, and you would have made 10% per year. Of course, if you take from the bottom of the chart and run it all the way to the top of the chart, you're going to see that you only did roughly 6.9%, 6.97% to be exact over that period of time. And again, while 6.97% is somewhat reasonable, if you think about it in terms of $100,000 being saved, that's only $6,970 in actual dividends or interest or capital gains actually being accrued in your account on a yearly basis. So that is not a lot of money, and that is not enough money to be able to retire with a $2 or $3 million account, even with the average person saving from their $150,000 salary or their $100,000 salary 10 or 15% per year. Taking the NASDAQ, it's even worse. People who invested in tech were simply, with all due respect, just sitting in dead weight for the longest period of time. In fact, if you purchased in 2000 tech stocks, you would not have been able to break even until basically 2017. 17 years. In fact, actually, let's try and get this here. You would have had an annualized return of 0.37%. That is over 16.9 years. So imagine you're 60 years old and you want to retire when you're 80, and all you get is 0.37% per year. It's impossible to go ahead and live that way. And that's why passive investing, no matter how much Warren Buffett says it works, he doesn't use it in Berkshire Hathaway. He uses options, lots of options like we do, constantly trading options, constantly using the same pattern of rinse, wash, and repeat. Weekly options, monthly options, taking money, building on it by 3 or 4%, which gives you a 12% annual yield, or a 7% annual yield if you're not doing that well. But the bottom line is there are thousands and thousands of trades out there, and that's why we spend hours a day looking for them. In terms of what's happened since we've actually gotten into this bull market, yeah, tech's done very well. It's up 18.48% annualized, but you would have had to wait 17 years to get there. You can't wait 17 years in the hope, in the prayer, in the wish that you're going to be able to make money in 17 years. If you're 50, and we'll take someone who's middle age as opposed to 60, okay, which is very close to retirement at 65. At 50, you have 15 years. That 50-year-old person, if he would have started investing in 2000, nope, he would not have enough money investing in tech stocks, the big boomers, the big growth. He wouldn't have had any of that benefit. He would have needed to wait until the age of 67. Okay, and then if you take from the bottom of the chart all the way to the top of the chart, okay, which takes us from basically 1997, May 30th, 1997 to March 31st, 2020, he would have done 11.11%. So for every $100, he would have gotten $11. That's simply unacceptable when it comes to investing, which is why doctors focus on medicine, lawyers focus on law, traders focus on trading, plumbers focus on getting everything working in terms of your pipes, in terms of your system, in terms of your whole entire, the architecture of the inside of your house, in terms of the movement of water, in terms of the movement of waste. People focus on these things. They study them. Any trader who does not spend 10 hours a day or 15 hours a day looking at charts and understanding the material is simply wasting his time, and he does not deserve your trust or money. Same thing with the lawyer who passes the bar. If he's not going to spend his time studying and practicing and working, he does not deserve your money. And the same thing with doctors and every other profession. If they're not good, you don't use them. But you have to find good people in order to make your money work as hard as you do. I'd like to thank you for spending time with me this afternoon and listening to this edition of videos for Lots of Options. Please visit us at our website so we can show you our trades, so we can show you our trade results and the work and effort and care that we put into everything at www.alloptionspreads.com. That's www.alloptionspreads.com. And you can get SMS text messages. You can get thoughts when we send out our thoughts during the day. You will have defined risk, defined benefit, and you will understand each individual trade so that you do not sit in an absolute dead zone for 17 years. It's just not possible. You can't retire that way, and you can't save that way, and you can't invest that way. Have a very good day, and best of luck in all of your endeavors. Thank you.